So that is plot 1. This one is a scatter plot called Culture by City from the Greater London Authority. I essentially dumped all the cities out here, commented some of them out, and then shifted some of the labels around, and you'll see it's a little crowded, but I wanted to use data labels and I want to do a scatter plot, so I just kind of went for it. I figured you guys would be using some data labels. So, I get this kind of density down here. It's kind of hard to read these individual. I did the opacity, so we get a little bit of overlap with the dots, but we're not really having problems with a lot of overlapping dots. A little bit down here on the low end, but essentially the main problem that we're having is overlapping data labels, and they work fine out here. If you have something that's very sparse, you can just label the points directly, which can be very nice. And you have to do here because you really couldn't do this. I mean, you wouldn't get the same unless it was interactive and you could hover over and get tooltips. But we get some overlapping here. I tried to leave on as many as I could. I mean, it's a little crowded. I showed it around, but so essentially here we're calling fig acts on a fig size 12.8. I'm setting up my labels and my X and Y, which is not the hard part. Call the scatter, which remember in the class I had said it was plot, but it's scatter. So I got some cutoffs here because I didn't want too many of these. And then I'm calculating the offsets for the labels. So a lot of this is all of this is really just to create the labels. And essentially what you have to do is remember each of these dots are artists. So you have to iterate through all of these dots on your chart and then attach a label to each one. And so, we basically annotating this point, and depending on whether it's in this list up here is whether it gets pushed up a little bit or pushed down a little bit. And I just went one by one through there to make sure they weren't totally overlapping. They overlap a little bit, but it's not the end of things.